All right.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to our 48-hour art check round 28. 28. I think that's what I wrote on there.
I thought it was less than that. I don't know. I will look on YouTube while you introduce us.
All right. Yeah. So you said introduce us, and that
I'm Kayla.
Yes, that's Kayla. I'm Kayla. I don't think we've ever introduced ourselves. So
It's taken 28 episodes.
While you're looking that up, I'll just go ahead and go first. I have decided to show you guys what I have been working on for the past month that I've been like keeping a secret, but I'm like pretty sure that he does, like the person I'm making it for doesn't watch. So here we go. I have been making these really cute dog posters.
26.
26? Okay, I think, did I put it right on there?
You put 26.
Okay. Whew. Yeah, so the person I made these for had to leave their dogs with their family when they moved, and they're really missing their dogs. So I made some posters that look like their dogs. I think I've got this is what his dogs really look like, and this is what the poster. So I'm a little nervous that they might not look exactly like it. But yeah. So I'm gonna, his birthday is on Tuesday, so this is for a birthday present. So, yeah. What have you worked on in the last 48 hours? Well, since Wednesday. So
Wednesday. In the past 7 days, I went and did a photo shoot, and that was pretty fun. Learned a lot about lighting and stuff because I haven't taken the camera class, the photography class that our school offers yet. I'm not taking that for another year because I have a while left until I graduate. It's so fun. But I haven't taken that one yet. So my friend, one of my group members, has a bunch of lighting equipment and a bunch of camera equipment and all that stuff. So we went and took pictures of our model for the storybook that I'm working on, and then I made 2 pages. So here's these 2 pages. I think they're pretty adorable.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's been a bunch of fun. It's been stressful as well. Trying not to be overwhelmed and stuff, but I'll talk about that in challenges. But yeah, I don't know. I love it. It's been a ton of fun. Learning Photoshop is crazy, especially getting the text to go that way.
Yeah.
Like I had to take it into Illustrator, create a path, and then move it in and all that stuff. But the professors have been helping a lot.
That's good.
But yeah, that was pretty fun. That's mainly what I've been doing, what I've been up to, working on that a lot. And it feels like it should be the end of the week right now, but it's not. So
nice. All right, challenges. Yeah, I guess the biggest one is I have started picking up, I think I've talked about this already, but I've started picking up really intense chores around the house to make money. And this weekend it was cleaning out our basement, and I am currently painting the ceilings in our living room. And I definitely painted for 4 hours before I realized that we had like one of those rollers on a pole. And so I was like climbing up a ladder, painting a little bit, climbing down, moving the ladder, climbing up and painting a little bit. It was exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like really tired. But yeah, that's been my biggest challenge. But yeah. Other than that, I haven't really had challenges this week. So
sweet.
Yes. What about you?
I had interview round 2 yesterday.
Nice.
So it wasn't so much a challenge. Like it was a great opportunity, and I'm very thankful that I interviewed, and I don't know anything back about the job. But it was one of those things where it's like I've never done a 2-round interview process. I haven't interviewed for a job, like for real interviewed for a job, not knowing if I'm not going to get it or not, since like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it was a very different experience. That was a challenge in itself because my mindset was solely on like this interview and getting the interview done and like, what do I need to wear? Do I need to print out this? What do I need to, and just like 20,000 thoughts all at once.
Yeah.
So that, and then I get overwhelmed really easily. And so I'm trying to learn how not to do that. So that might actually be a topic that we do at some point. Is not getting overwhelmed. But I just get super overwhelmed because I realize how much I have to do and I don't know where to start. And so it like means other people have to help me start, like those 2 pages. I did not have those done until 2 of the professors sat down in an office with me and were like, this is what you do. Here's how you need to start. And so I'm very grateful that they do that, but I'm trying to learn how to like not be as overwhelmed because I have stuff going on. I just need to actually do it and get it done. Yeah, this group project is a challenge in itself. So
I know that feel.
but it's less of a challenge than last semester.
Yeah.
Which is super nice.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, you learn from your past mistakes. Definitely learned from past mistakes and miscommunications and how to avoid that, which has been a wonderful experience. However, deadlines are very challenging when you are, I don't know, I knew that we were biting off a little bit more than we could possibly chew, but we bit off, I think, a lot more than we could chew.
Yeah.
Because 5 of us, 3 dreams, 1 reality, never mixed photo and illustration before. A lot of them are doing styles that they haven't really done before of the illustrators. Writing a book, which none of us have ever done before, and then illustrating for a book and figuring out the layout for the book. It's a lot to learn in 10 weeks. So, but we're getting there.
Yep. Next 48. I honestly don't, and technically this is well, okay. It either really is for the next 48 or it's until Monday.
Yes, we are deciding that after this.
I mean, hopefully in the middle of it, but
hopefully in the middle of it we will decide.
Yeah. But either way, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to commit to getting done. I do know that, I mean, this is just a silly little thing, but I always hope that I sit next to someone important on an airplane. But like I sit in the lowest of the low. I'm always the last one to get on the plane. But I am planning on working on stuff while I'm on the plane. So maybe like the person that is sitting next to me just happens to see me like working on stuff and they're like, oh, she's cool. So I am either going to, I haven't decided which one, but I'm either going to finally for sure finish the animation for our 48-hour art check, or I'm going to work on I've been wanting to do a new set of my inspiring women baseball cards.
Okay.
And I kind of want to reformat how I've got them done. Like I want them to be categorized a little more. So I'm going to work on revamping that a little bit. And I'm also just going to try and figure out how to go about selling them because I'm thinking that would be a good source of revenue for me. Like hopefully people want to buy those. So yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be I think I would want to buy one if I had money. If I had some money, I would.
Yeah.
Okay, next 48. Yeah, it really depends. It kind of depends on if it's actually the next 48 or if it's 5 days. But I intend on hopefully getting 2 more pages done. And I'm not saying that the pages that I showed are completely 100% done because I know that there's some stuff that I want to fix, but they are done enough that I can move on to the next 2 and then kind of revisit those once I have pretty good drafts of all 7 of the pages.
Yeah.
So my friend has 2 done. I have 2 done. So we have 4. So we have 3 left. I'm working on another one right now, but I didn't show it because it doesn't look great, to be honest. So I'll probably be working on that and hopefully have at least, if we're doing Friday, have at least one page more done, or if we're doing Monday, hopefully have 2 pages to show. But
Nice.
we will find out.
Yeah.
Because I plan to be at work a lot in the next 2 days.
Yep.
So
cool. All right. Our topic is style guides. Yeah, we came up with this topic by reading a blog about topics you should talk about on design blogs. Because we're running out of ideas. But I think it's a great topic because I love making style guides. Like, it's my favorite thing. I just mostly because like this is gonna sound weird, but I thrive under having rules. And so like if you know that you're always gonna use like these colors, it's a lot easier to design something that fits in. And so I really enjoy making style guides. Mm-hmm. They're like really fun for me. So
okay.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just like taking it in as you're talking. So you can continue talking. I know I'm making a face. It's because I'm
thinking. But yeah, at least I was thinking when I suggested this that we would be stressing the importance of having a style guide.
Okay.
Like I have a personal style guide for my brand, and everything that I have created for my brand since then follows that style guide. And even before that, because like I had my colors picked out and I was working through it before, but when you create a style guide, you have it all like right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you ever need to remember, like what's my personal rule about this thing, you can like flip open your style guide.
Yeah.
And then the other important aspect, it's less of like a personal brand thing, but if you create a style, like for our group projects, if you create a style guide, it's a lot easier for people to work from a style guide. And it's a lot easier to make sure that everything matches the way that it's supposed to when you know what fonts you're supposed to be using and like what sizes and what colors that you're supposed to be working with. So.
I gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. I can do that. I wasn't taking it that way in my head, but I can do that. I was just thinking about like, kind of about the importance of making a style guide, but also like maybe like how you could make a style guide a little bit at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With, like what should go into a style guide kind of thing. Because like you like making style guides. I don't mind making style guides. I'm a kind of person where I would rather not make the rules of it. I would rather you just kind of tell me the rules. Like if I'm being told make a style guide, here's what I want you to put into it, like I'll go make it. But if it's like, here, make up this style guide, I'm like, please don't make me do that. Because then I have my style guide, which first off, is super important, especially if like you have a brand that you kind of want to go with. Like there is stuff that can and can't be done with my logo that because I have a style guide, I know what to tell Kaitlin, so this way stuff doesn't get done to my logo.
Yeah.
And whatnot, because I have 9 different types of logos that I have. I have 3 versions of my main, and then 6 black and white versions. And so, like a style guide, if nothing other than just like helping you figure out what your logo can and can't look like that's super helpful. Because if, Kaitlin and I have made stuff using both of our logos before.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've made something using hers, she's made something using mine. And so like it's pretty important to have that basis there. But yeah, as far as making a style guide goes, I made mine and I had a blast with it. It made me think that that's what I wanted to do with social media. More recent experiences, that was my phone that just fell. More recent experiences have taught me that that is not what I want to do with social media. And I actually would much rather like actually content create and stuff.
Yeah.
But this being said, to create content, I need a style guide to base that off of.
Yeah.
A personal experience that I have that I'm going to choose my words carefully because don't want to say something that I shouldn't say. An experience that I have had is creating something for a client or just for somebody that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Or just, creating something for anybody in the world. I'm being extremely vague. Creating something for anybody, and I created something for them, and they had given me a list of things, but it was obvious that they didn't have a set style guide to give designers. And so I made them a design and sent it back, and they said, I really like this, but you can't do that with the logo, and I forgot to tell you.
Oh.
And it was like, really? it was very obvious that it wasn't like a set style guide. Like they had a set color scheme page and everything like that, but there wasn't a set like you can do this with your logo and you can't do this with your logo. And so like as a designer, I need that style guide because I am going to put time into designs and coming up with designs, and I would have gone down probably a completely different path because I did like a serious one and like a more fun one. I would have gone down a completely different path for my more fun one if I had known that I couldn't do what I did,
Yeah.
So I don't know if that really goes along with your topic, but that's what I was thinking of.
No, I think it does. Because it all comes down to being able to communicate what things should look like. And I think that's a very valuable skill as a designer to not only be able to communicate that, but to like understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sorry, I'm pulling up a style guide example.
No, I have my style. I don't have my screen shared yet, but I have my style guide pulled up.
Perfect. So let's do this. Chrome tab. Ta-da!
Yeah.
So here's my style guide. I just kind of have this going through, and there's a lot of different things that like I hit on in my style guide. And your list doesn't have to be exactly this. I do photography and mock-ups and design and all that stuff. But like you have a brand voice, which I think is pretty important in itself.
Yeah.
Like defining your brand voice in your style guide, because like how do you know what you want your brand to be? Because it's really actually harder than you would think, because in your head you're like, yeah, I know what I want my brand voice to be. And then you sit there to type it and you're like, hey, maybe I actually don't know what I want it to be. And so it's nice because like as somebody that's creating content for my page, for my brand, I can reference that brand voice and make sure that I'm following it because I want a consistent message from my page.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
I'm waiting for you to pull up yours.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were waiting.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So this is mine. And I have a lot of similar things. I've got like a voice statement. And then, yeah, I've got my logo, color, fonts, photography, design elements. But one thing I kind of wanted to hit on that I think was super interesting is the class that we took that had us design these, had us do an audience persona analyzation. That's not the right word. Analysis. There we go. And so I think that to me, that is super valuable because now when I'm creating content, I'm thinking about my target audience and trying to understand like, okay, why am I creating what I'm creating? How is it helping them? How is it like appealing to them, if that makes sense? So,
yeah. And I think we've discussed this kind of before a little bit, but before we decided to do 48-hour art check, we didn't realize how similar our brand statements were. But I think that's also like a cool thing about having a brand statement, or as you said, a voice statement. Brand voice, whatever you want to call it. Like you can connect to other artists and designers and photographers and all that just because of your voice statement. Like if you guys both have the goal in mind to inspire others, like, oh geez, let me go back to that page. I was pulling up a different page, but I'm not a huge fan of these pages that I designed, but you have like beginning designers and I want to inspire them. You know, I have beginning photographers and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like it because as you and I have been talking, it's been like, oh, our audience seriously is like to inspire people.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting though now, looking back at it, that my audience has almost changed. Like my target audience has almost changed.
Yeah.
Because I still have like this goal to like inspire people to share their stuff, but I don't know. I guess I have to revisit it. And the good thing about a style guide is that it's like your portfolio. Like you can always go back and change it because it's your style guide. You made it. It's your brand.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go change it, go change it.
Really can. Yeah. I tend to not stick with fonts for a while. Like I find ones I like, and then like a couple months later, I'm like, okay, I don't like that font anymore. So that's just something that I change. I probably shouldn't change a lot, but yeah, I change my font a lot.
And it's all good.
Yeah.
See, I like the fonts that I chose. I kind of wish I used them more.
Yeah, I'm kind of finally happy with the fonts that I have. So that's good. But yeah.
So I pulled this up because I want to show it. So here's stuff that you can and cannot do with my logo, or cannot do with my logo. This is on here. This is probably, I would say, the most important page that I have on here. No, that's not true. The second most important page, because I think my color scheme page is the most important page that I have, because I reference that thing
all the
time. At least once every 2 weeks, I am pulling up that page and grabbing hex codes.
Yep.
But anyways, I have this one, and why I want to show it is because like it's very obvious like what I can and can't do. However, me being the designer, if I decide that I am going to break it, I can do that. Like if I give the logo to somebody else, they can't do that. That is against the rules. But as the designer, if I go, okay, for this very specific thing, my logo should be sideways, which I hope I will never decide because I actually really dislike it sideways. Like I have the ability to break it because it's my own style guide.
Yeah.
If somebody else gives you a style guide, you cannot break it. But if it's your own style guide, like it's a guideline, it's a guide. That's what it is, like to lead you in the right direction. But if a design calls for it, like you can't get around it any other way and it's not going to look that bad, like you can break it. It's your own, you know? Yeah. I just wanted to pull that up because like mine says that you can't rotate my last name. Although in my YouTube cover photo, my last name is rotated. But you know, that's just, it worked. I needed it. You know, it's a cover photo. You can't have it this way. You have to have it this way. And that's just what I needed to do, you know? Yeah. But like I'm saying it because like that's kind of like the way it is, like the way of the world. Yeah. If it's your own style guide, then you can change it. Who cares? Yeah. You're your own boss.
Heck yeah.
I also think it's kind of aggravating if you don't have a style guide to go off of.
Yes. Oh, one of the things I wanted to talk about was kind of like so right now we're talking about style guides on a big like brand wide concept. But I also think it can be very useful to create like a mini style guide when you're working on a project.
Okay.
Like for example, with the sticker stints, or with like any of those 24-day projects, the first one that I didn't really have a style guide. And so they don't look like a set at all. Like I have 24 stickers, but they don't look like they belong together, and they don't have like, so I designed 24 stickers for companies that I thought were really cool or that I wanted to work for. And that's the only unifying thing. Like, I think around day 15, I hit a style that I really liked. And so I made like 5 of them with that style. But other than that, there's nothing that ties them together, like not even colors or anything. And so I think that, and then as a contrast, my second 24-day project that I did were the baseball cards, which had a very defined style, and like the only things that changed from each card were the portraits and the like the bios on the back.
Okay.
And so I like sat down as part of my day 0 and defined like what colors I wanted and what I wanted them to look like and what sort of style I was going to be working within with the portraits to make sure that they all looked similar. And kind of just to bring it back to what you were saying of like, if you make the rules, you're allowed to break them. There was one card that I broke because all of the portraits were in color, but except for this one artist. So I did a Georgia O'Keeffe baseball card, and she's like really well known for her surrealist paintings, and they're normally like very bright and very colorful. And so with her card, I did her in black and white, and then did like a surrealist background with a bunch of vivid, bright colors. So I think that having a unified style on and not just on like 24-day projects, but like if you're working on just anything and you know that you're only going to want to use like a certain width of stroke, or that you want all your corners to be rounded, it's just going to help your piece feel more cohesive if you find a style and like obey that style. Mm-hmm. Obey is not the word. I follow that style.
Yeah.
It's just going to help everything seem more cohesive.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree with that completely. I've just been kind of, as you're talking, like I'm listening, I'm thinking about the past projects that I have. My 18 days is something I didn't have a style guide at all. 24 days is something I didn't have a style guide at all. I wish it was 18. I've like deleted half of the posts. But I didn't have a style guide at all. And I think it kind of depends on like the specific, like what the purpose of your project is. Because my purpose for that project was, I just want to try stuff, like probably going to fail. I just don't want to do the minimalistic design that I do every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And for our photo book, we kind of have a style guide, but like it's not like a written document, because it's hard to have a written document when 5 people are doing 4 different styles. You're like, okay, really though, what needs to kind of stay the same? And so with that, we have one guy doing black and white, 2 of us doing pictures, and then 2 people illustrating in color.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we have like the hex codes for the teddy bear. I don't think we have a hex code for the shirt, which I'm gonna get now because I just realized that we don't have a hex code for Danny's shirt. But with that, we kind of have a working style guide, but it's never really been like, this is the exact style guide, because we have multiple different styles. Mm-hmm. And the typography is even going to change from the different dreams, because the typography is going to fit the specific dream that it's in. Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
So is the way that you're planning to make it feel like, so is it the shirt and the teddy bear are always going to say the same color? Is that how you're going to make it feel cohesive?
Yes.
Okay.
He is always going to be in red pajamas. I'm going to show this. So one of my team, never mind, I'm not going to show it because it's my team members, not mine. I don't have a picture that I can show of him in his red pajamas. But anyways, the little boy that we had model, he's wearing red pajamas in the picture, and then when he goes to the dreams, he's wearing red pajamas. As far as the black and white dream goes, I haven't really like seen them together to know that the point gets across, but I'm hoping that the point gets across without the red.
Well, and if anything, you could just have the red pants still be red.
Well, it's red top and bottoms. It's like his whole PJ set is just red.
But still, like, mm-hmm. You could still have him just be in red. Because that would be my one fear with a project like that, is if you don't have a unified font, if you don't have a unified style, how is it going to feel cohesive?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Sorry, I'm like gonna get the hex code. I'm like making a note to myself to get the hex code. Yeah, no, I think it's just interesting because it's like one of those things where you kind of have to be able to establish this is your character, but also if you're changing styles, then the style guide is going to be kind of constraining when you're trying to change up the styles and do different things. And so I don't know, it's kind of interesting because it's been one of those things where it's like, just run with it, like fail. I don't care what you do, go fail, because then you can start to succeed, you know?
Yeah.
What are you laughing about?
I'm not laughing. It's just like, no, like, don't go fail. Have a plan first, and then maybe you won't fail on the first time. Like, okay.
That is called preparation paralysis.
No.
Yes.
I wasn't done talking, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not preparation paralysis. To me, it's just making sure that, like, because I'm not expecting everything to be perfect the first time that we do it. But if you have a set of guidelines, you can skip over this whole process of like, okay, this doesn't feel right. Why doesn't this feel right? Why isn't this matching what this looks like? If you have like a set, and I'm not saying like have everything nailed down, but if you have a couple rules that you're following throughout, it's going to make that beginning process where you're figuring things out a lot easier.
Okay, so I agree, but I disagree. And this is going to get us off topic. So maybe this should be a separate topic. But I think that taking the time to create a style guide is great. But you can spend a bunch of time creating a style guide. However, if you try out the style guide and it fails, let's look at the animation really quick that we created.
Listen.
I think I came into that group week 7, week 8, and the project just changed because everybody had been planning, no animation had been started. And I'm not like taking shots at anybody. Like, I'm happy that I joined the group and everything, but no animation had been started. The characters were still changing, the backgrounds were changing, everything was still changing, and you guys had a full style guide done, but the project itself hadn't actually been started. And what happened is the style guide wound up changing once everybody was actually animating and creating the finalized assets and everything. Well, there was a bunch of time that was spent on that style guide and on creating that when you created it all and then realized that's not actually going to work. And so I think that putting in, 1 or 2 weeks maybe at the beginning, while you're doing something else, like we were creating the story at the same time that we were kind of deciding like what the unification factors were and everything and how we were actually going to do it. I think that that's fine. But I think at a certain point, you need to not get attached to your style guide and you have to jump in and try it and then look at it and realize, yeah, this isn't going to work. And I'm happy that I did not spend 8 weeks figuring out the style guide and now I have to go change it. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I want to come to the defense of because as much as that project was, so I was in charge of the style guide on that one.
It was good. That's why
I'm not done. Yes, we had to change it, but I think that's different because the issues that we were having were not that I was practicing the style guide and failing. It was that I was giving out the style guide and expecting people to follow it, and then it wasn't being followed in the way that it was meant to be followed. Yes, I have hindsight. If we could have gone back, I would have like not delegated the designing and would have just like, because that's where the issue came from, is we had this style that I developed that we really liked, but as soon as I gave it to other people, this is a whole separate issue, but as soon as I handed over that style to other people, it became a lot more difficult to manage that style, especially because it's not a style that people like. You can't. It was a lot harder to pick up than I thought it was going to be. And so like the issues that we were having was that people were trying to adapt. I was trying to change the style to adapt to the skill level that we were being able to perform at. But in hindsight, I should have just designed all the assets. Like, if that was the style that we liked and wanted to do, then we should have just had me do it all instead of trying to change the style.
I'm gonna unmute myself.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're muted, and I want you to contribute right now.
I was waiting. I was not taking shots at the style guide. It was really good, and I agree that creating that style guide was important. I'm just saying that, yeah, the style guide was created, and then the style was changed, not watching the style guide. And so at that point, the style guide kind of became...
My opinion is that the style guide was not the issue.
No, that's what I'm saying.
There were lots of other issues, and it wasn't the fault of the style guide.
No, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that because the style guide wasn't followed, the style guide was not the issue, but because the style guide wasn't followed, and then the style guide was continually being changed, like there was never like putting your foot down and being like, this is the style, learn it and do it. It like, which a style guide is a working document, and this is kind of what I was trying to get at. A style guide is a working document to an extent. If there is a group project and you have created the style guide and people can't follow it for whatever reason, they need to learn how to follow it, like straight up. Okay, can you just let me finish without laughing?
No, I'm not. Continue.
I'm muting you.
I'm not interrupting.
I'm messing with you.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry. Every time you start laughing, I feel bad because I feel like I'm like bashing on your style guide, and I'm not trying to.
Isn't actually me laughing. It's me hushing myself to let you finish talking.
The point that I'm making is that a style guide is important so long as people are going to follow it. And what I was saying with preparation paralysis is that it kind of became like this like loop of like, we have a style guide, and then people weren't following the style guide, and so then the style guide changed to fit them, and then they decided even more that it wasn't going to do that, and then you had to change the style guide again, and that kind of thing, which I don't know. I just have an opinion on it, but this is going to be a whole separate topic, and I don't want to disagree about this because
I don't think that we will, because preparation paralysis is a real thing, and we definitely had that on that team project. Like, it took us so long to actually start animating. But I think that what it comes, we had preparation paralysis on things other than the style guide. Like, we spent way too long writing the story and working on the animatic, and then not actually animating. And then we also, so we spent a lot of time writing the story, and then once we started like working, actually like designing assets and trying to do an animatic and doing the storyboard and realizing that the story was too long, so we had to rewrite the story, and like there was just a lot of messing with the story when we should have just like stopped at some point. And I think that's where our preparation paralysis came in, is that we were spending too long trying to figure out what was actually happening. I feel like the stuff with the style was just happening at the same time, but the issues that we were having were with the story.
Okay. This is a whole side topic.
Yes, we're off track, so we need
by
to
a lot. Okay, what would you like to bring it back to?
I don't know.
Is that it? Is that everything that we had to say? We're just going to end it on that off-topic.
We're going to talk about what you need to include in a style guide. So if you want to do that.
Oh, yeah. I think a brand voice is pretty important. And you can butt in and disagree or butt in and add. I think if it's it depends on what your page is, but if it's a photography page, how are you going to represent your photography? Like, what's the editing styles that you're going to use?
Sorry. I was just going to say, going off of photography, if you're doing a social media brand, it's really important to define what filters you're going to use as well. Because I think if you do use filters, like it'll really impact how your brand looks. And so you need to, especially if you've got like other people running your social media, like it's really important to define, okay, you can only use these filters. You can only use them at this like setting. And so it's about like how you're making your stuff, but also how you're presenting it. So continue.
Sorry, I was listening to you. Like the style of photography, like the style of editing, and how are you going to present your designs? Like for me, I try to present my designs in a mock-up, unless it's a draft. And so I won't post a design unless it's in a mock-up.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like posting a design itself is kind of boring. And like, I want to show what it can be. But other people, you know, they just post their designs themselves and it goes really, really well.
Yeah.
But for my specific style, when I do stickers and stuff, I'd just rather show it in a mock-up.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like that, like I said, brand voice, audience analysis is super important.
Yes.
Getting into like I'm just going to go complete social media emphasis on this right now because I literally tweeted about this and I was like, I'm so psyched as a social media emphasis that we're about to, like, we're not doing social media week yet. And at that point, I'm going to geek out, but a little bit. Audience analysis is super, super important anytime that you're running a social media page. And you definitely should take that into consideration when you are, when you're creating your style guide, because basing your brand around the people that you want is actually how you're going to get engagement, and basing your posts and your content towards that audience, again, is how you're going to get engagement.
Yeah.
In addition to those things, if your brand style guide is being created specifically to run a social media page, which like mine is run that way. I don't know about yours. I don't really do a store right now. At some point I might, but right now it's strictly just like, here's my stuff. Here's my social media. Like, check it out. Cause I just like sharing it and I like seeing other people share theirs and tag me in it. It's great. But style guides are insanely important in recognizing who your audience is and how you're going to calculate the engagement rate. I don't know if that necessarily comes into the style guide so much, but when you are, how do I say it? Yeah, when you're creating your content, if my audience is beginning designers and I'm targeting specifically beginning designers, okay, what medias do beginning designers use? Twitter. Twitter is an extremely like underground creative hub. You know, Instagram. Of course, people use Instagram because that's where you can show stuff. Creatives don't typically really use Facebook that much. Like, it's kind of a hassle. Facebook is going away from businesses and like this is a mini thing. Their algorithms are all messed up. Anyways, side note from that. But when you're doing your audience analysis, you're able to figure out what brands you want to run on, or not brands, what channels you want to run on, which in turn helps you with it's like a loop. And you need that for your brand style guide, because then you can target your style guide towards those social media channels that you want to run.
Yeah.
There was that.
No, yeah, I agree. I think those are all important things to include in your style guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm thinking I've had so many like topics here that like now I'm thinking of like style guides for our brand thing. There's a discussion going on about hex codes in my head. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like me like kind of nerding out about it. And I know that you were able to follow along because you took 315. People weren't able to follow along. I'm sorry. I'm trying. But this is like my nerdy thing. If you want to talk about engagement rates or anything, like, I literally have researched the 7 different ways that you can calculate that. So this is my nerdy thing. But yeah, brand style guides are super important, especially including that audience thing.
Yeah.
Because really, you want to know how to engage with your audience. And if it's not just a social media page, but like I want to say that my engagement is people buying my content, then I need to know how to target myself towards those people so this way they buy it. You know, because like for me, beginning designer, beginning photographer, the people that I'm targeting right now are to inspire others to share their work. They're probably not making much money. A lot of them are probably in college and high school.
Yeah.
So I would have to change my target audience if I was trying to make a good amount of money off of this, you know?
Yeah.
So just a thought. Food for thought.
I also agree that audience personas are very important. Because like I think most people when they're building a brand don't really think about it unless you have been taught to think about it. I don't know, because I had never thought about it until I took that class. And there was like a decent amount of research that went into it too. Yes. It's not just like, oh, I want to target these people. It's like, okay, well, who are they? Like, what other things do they like? You know, I think that, so we went on like a Facebook analytics page. I can't remember what it's called, but you go in and you put like an age range and where they live, and like, you can even like filter it by gender, or there's like a ton of filters you can put on. But once you like narrow down on this audience, you can literally look at their top likes and like their top pages that they follow. And so you really can't, it's kind of creepy, but you can really find a lot of information about your audience, and who you are, like you can learn what else they like so you can better like cater to them.
Yeah. So one of our professors that we've had, definitely talked about him before. He's my boss too. His name is James Rognan. His stuff is seriously crazy right now. He's doing this like one photo a day for 365 days. I think he's on like day 30. You should check out his stuff. Anyways, he's a part of 2 social media channels. One of them is at James Rognan. The other one's at the Rognan Project. And what he is doing right now, like behind the scenes, is some insane like work. What he's doing is literally going in to each post, typing out a category in an Excel spreadsheet, the engagements that they got, calculating the engagement rates, how many followers, how many words were in their captions, all of this stuff. And so with all of that, it's interesting because like he's seriously going in depth on their target audience and like what content they're creating. How do I phrase this? What audience their content is targeting. Mm-hmm. And so it's super cool to see like behind this. It might not be cool to everybody else, but in my opinion, it's super cool like to see like all of that stuff and kind of be like, okay, this is the kind of people that are engaging with this. This is where these people are coming from, because it also helps you target like your hashtags. You know, who do I want liking my stuff? Mm-hmm. I've learned
about that.
Yeah, it helps you learn who to target with your hashtags.
Yeah.
When I comment a photography post with the hashtag of Canon EOS 80D, which is the model of camera that I have, I automatically get more photographers liking my posts.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. I want to do what he's doing for my brand when I actually have, free time. Like, I'm hoping to do it this summer. Not summer. This winter break. Jeez, that shows how much I know about what time of year it is. I'm hoping to do it this winter break when I have 19 days of break, so I'm hoping to do it then. But like, yeah, I've noticed it because it's like that specific model of camera, people that shoot with that model follow other people that shoot with that model, which I think is really weird.
Yeah, like because I'm into photography, but I've never thought like, hey, let me go like follow people that take pictures with the same kind of camera I use. Like I didn't even think about that. That's so interesting.
Yeah, and so like all my photography posts have like lists of hashtags. And so like when I use hashtag Adobe Illustrator, hashtag Adobe, hashtag Adobe Student, anything like that, it draws in different people because people want to know what you're creating on that specific program. people want to know what you're shooting with on that specific camera, especially because my photography style, what I post, I try to post pretty much unedited pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm posting a picture either from my phone or from my camera, I hate photo editing. And I just don't do it unless I have literally applied a black and white filter on it and changed the threshold a little bit. That's pretty much the only editing I've done. And so when I use, a combination of like Canon EOS 80D and no filter or something like that, people are like, wow, this is the raw pictures that you're getting with this model of camera.
Yeah.
I don't know why it does better, but it does. And there are like specific followers in my head right now that I'm remembering following me specifically after I've used that hashtag.
That's very
But also, that was a while ago. So does it still work now? Nobody knows. I have not done a photo shoot in a I did one, but I don't think I used that hashtag. I don't know. But like, no, I did because I got more likes on that post than every other post that I've had. But like, yeah, it's crazy. And it's just like, because I know my target audience, I want to target people that are beginning photographers. And a lot of them kind of are trying to get like the newer models. A lot of them are on Canon. Like the people that I'm kind of targeting are more so on Canon than Nikons.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's very like nerdy and like in depth, kind of like, here's how I need to analyze this. But when you look at it, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work.
That was very informative. I don't know if anyone else was looking for that today, but I really appreciated that.
I'm so ready for social media week.
Yes, we need to do that.
This is, everybody can see now why I have a double emphasis.
Yeah.
This has become very apparent to absolutely everybody watching this or listening to this whenever it's a podcast. Everybody's like, oh, wow. This is why she's digital and social media as well as visual.
Yeah.
Anyways, there was a bunch of that stuff. That's why an audience section is important in a style guide.
There we go. Bring it back in. Full circle.
I just realized how much of a rant I went on.
No, but it was great because like that was so informative to me because I'm terrible at social media. Like I want to be better, but I'm so bad at it. So like that is very interesting to me.
I will help you just for fun. I will help you.
No, because you have way too much going on.
But next semester, I have no side projects planned. Straight up.
Okay. Well, your side project is going to be helping me figure it out.
Yes. I'm actually so down. If you are curious about content calendars, this summer I got kind of bored and I realized, because I was supposed to be the social media manager over something and then my jobs changed because I was stressed, but I had to create a content calendar, and I have like very much a vlog style shot on my phone camera. You can see my screen, like probably like 2-minute video of me creating a content calendar, just like step by step of like what I was doing.
Yeah.
So if anybody gets curious about that stuff, go to my channel, which is in the link below, which we will talk about more when we're wrapping up. But that's a cool video if you get curious about that stuff. I'm nerding out about this hardcore, and I didn't realize how nerdy about it I was, because the only person I really talked this about is Ragnan, and him and I are on like the same like nerdy level about this stuff, and so I didn't realize that not everybody else was interested. So anyways, back to style guides. Style guides are important.
Yes, do them.
Do them. Figure out what you want your brand focus to be.
Yes.
It's very important. It's very, very important.
It is.
This is bothering me. I'm back to old school headphones today. So anything else you would like to add?
I don't think so.
Because I just
everything
went over all that.
Yeah.
Okay, wrapping it up then?
Yep. All right. If you want to see any of my stuff, this is my Instagram. Also down in the description is my website and my Facebook. If you want to see any of Kayla's stuff, that is her Instagram.
Yep, this is my Instagram link. Go here. I've been trying out more of like stories and how well stories are doing instead of like posting on my actual
I've been noticing that.
page. Yeah, because I'm trying to do stories like a bunch now.
Yeah.
And so my Instagram stories are usually pretty fun. I try to have fun with them. I, just try to do crazy stuff and engage with people through there.
Yeah.
And I've actually started gaining followers. So
Hey.
yeah, so go there. I'm gonna start experimenting with more like actual physical posts in the future when I have the content to do that. I'm trying to build up content right now.
Yeah.
Check that out. Also, my Twitter. If you want to know when we are going live, you typically have an hour to 30 minutes heads up, sometimes about 10 minutes. But I try to do
depending on the day.
depending on the day. I try to do about an hour or 30 minutes heads up. This is where we're going live. Here's the link. I will always post whether or not we are having 48-hour art check, and that's just kind of a good way to go there. Also, really quick, because we talked about his stuff, I'm going to give him credit.
It took me a second. Also, Kayla's portfolio website, the link is down in the description. I added it.
Thank you. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Also, the guy that I was talking about, his name is James Rognan. He's also in charge of the Rognan Project. Their content is amazing. They talk a lot about getting out of debt, which is super important to me because I am in debt. So check out the Rognan Project and James Rognan. He seriously does some awesome photography and design. So check that out. That being said, we will possibly see you guys on Friday. If we do, it'll be on my channel. But we will.
Actually, sorry, I got an answer. I'll be up there on Monday.
We will see you guys on Monday on my channel. So go subscribe. Check it out.
Links in the description.
Follow us. If you're listening to us on a podcast, subscribe because we are awesome and funny, and I think we're hilarious. Also, we go on tangents, so we're pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it's great. All right, cool. See you on Monday.
See you on Monday.